Hey there, brothers and sisters. I'm Bob Waterhouse, your Vice President, and I'd like to talk to you about reining in wasteful spending. When I took over as Vice President 3 years ago, I set out to clean up a lot of things. In the beginning, Secretary Treasurer Sonia Moreno approached me and told me she wanted to improve our payroll. I asked her to explain, and she said that she was mandated to pay out certain employees who were given a set amount of hours every 2 weeks. They had no job description, no real paperwork except a voucher for the hours, just a paycheck. I looked into it. The office secretary that we had at the time got paid over $30 an hour for 35 hours a week, and they barely lifted a finger. I worked in the office with them, and I do not exaggerate. Another steward who was paid by the local was paid at the same rate for 15 hours a week, and it was unclear what they did most of the time. I proposed through the executive board that any paid employee be on a contract. I wanted an understanding of what their responsibilities were and to have them specified in writing. Any steward who worked as a steward at will now needed a legal and signed contract. The contract the secretary was on was reduced to start at 3 hours a day from 7. This was generous compared to what they did each day, but they turned the contract down and we replaced them with the secretary we have now with the same contract. Our output money had been decreased and our input and work had increased tenfold. Stewards who were receiving paychecks were put on a contract and told to specify what work they were doing each week so we could audit them and verify their work. We told them many times over to be specific, but one did not listen. They even tried to get out of signing one. The time came for me to audit our stewards on contract, and I found out that particular steward was charging us for work they were not performing. The membership severed their contract, and this was another savings for the local. I made some constitutional amendments to better protect the local against undue enrichment. We've had full-time officers in the past who have saved their annual leave until the end of their term so they could cash it out in a lump sum. I made 2 amendments to the Constitution that made it very clear that annual leave is part of the officer's salary and put protocols in place to ensure that annual leave is not being used as an outgoing bonus. This saved the local tens of thousands of dollars. I'm a Boy Scout of sorts. I don't like abuse or people who take advantage. That's why I'm such an effective steward. When I see it, I address it. I got a lot of criticism from veteran e-board members because I was raining on the parade of several people, but what's right is right. You may hear some bitter words said about me, but when you've robbed people on the gravy train of all their goodies that they've enjoyed on the member's dime, they're going to be bitter. I was told when I first got into office that I could drive the union vehicle back and forth to work each day. And that was quite a benefit because I had a 35-mile commute each day. But there's nothing allowing me to do that in writing, nor is it practice anywhere else that I know of, so I decided to park the union vehicle at the union hall and drive my own car back and forth. I didn't feel it was right for me to do that on the union's dime. Our members' money can go into something more productive. I don't know the savings, but I'm sure it's significant on both mileage and gas. Sonia would have to speak to that, but it's another example of how I project an honest profile when I do work. I do the right thing, so I can't be accused otherwise. Anyway, these are more examples of responsible management of the local that I, as well as Sonia Moreno, instituted to protect our money so we can put it to good use. Vote Bob Waterhouse for president. Vote Sonia Moreno for vice president. Vote in the regulators so we can regulate this local. Thank you. Have a good night.